Nneka and Ogwumike and Skylar Diggins-Smith hold their first press conference for the Seattle Storm, praise the team, franchise, ownership, and the facilities here in Seattle. Welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Sports Show where we love Seattle pro sports. I'm your host, Mikey. And today we are talking about Seattle Storm, Nneka Ogwumike, and Skylar Diggins-Smith holding their first press conference here with the Seattle Storm. Coach Noel Quinn and part of the ownership, Talisa Rhea, were here as well. This was actually opened up by Talisa, and she was saying how this offseason, Jewel deciding to stay in Seattle was the catalyst for a great offseason. And you guys all remember me talking about that in the regular season, how great Jewel Lloyd was doing. And then I don't remember who it was, but somebody brought it up on one of the broadcasts how it was her contract year and maybe she wouldn't be coming back, and it just had never crossed my mind. I just thought for sure Seattle would get the job done, they would bring her back, and they would make sure to offer her what she needed to get her back here. That is ultimately what happened, but yes, as Talisa said, that was like a big part of that was the start of their great offseason that they have had through first signing Jewel and then being able to sign Nneka and Skylar. That one move right there alone, because players wanted to play with Jewel, that led to signing Nneka and Skylar. And she said that they got exactly what they wanted. That was Plan A. They wanted Nneka, they wanted Skylar in free agency, and that's exactly what they got. They were able to get their Plan A, and that's amazing. So Nneka spoke next, and she said that she was drawn to Seattle because of the success, throughout history of the franchise, the expectations there are. Because of the success in the past of this franchise, and the legacy. This is a legacy franchise that it is known for being one of the best. And so if you can come here and continue that legacy, it's going to just add to your own legacy as a player. By the way, you can go watch the press conference on YouTube right now on Seattle Storm's YouTube page. I'm not going to really go through any direct quotes, from the press conference, because you can go watch it for yourself. So I'm just kind of gonna paraphrase everything that they said here today. Let's see here, and Nneka talking about those things. She also made it sound like she plans on being in Seattle for the long haul. If I remember right, her contract, I believe I heard was reported it was like a 2-year contract, right? But she was talking about how she doesn't have a lot of years left, but she still plans on playing, at least a few more years or several more years, as she put it, and she wants to be a part of a franchise like Seattle to end her career strong. So, I don't know exactly how much longer she's going to play, but she's sounding like, she doesn't, she played in LA for 12 years. So if she's going to move somewhere else and play for another franchise, she wants it to be a place where she can end strong and hopefully finish out the rest of her career. And if we're lucky, we'll get several more years of her, as she said. Skylar came up, or she didn't come, but they were all sitting together. But she talked next and said, you know what? For her, she just wanted to play with Jewel, and she seconded the feelings that Nneka had. She's just like, yeah, all of that too, but I also just wanted to play with Jewel. And Storm was Skylar's first choice right from the get go. While she was searching to see what was going to happen, she talked to Jewel, and she also talked to Nneka throughout the process. And for her, the Storm was her first choice. Jewel is a winner. She wants to be around winners for the rest of her career. So Jewel staying in Seattle, and then Nneka, also sounding like she was going to be picking Seattle as well, is what helped Skylar, decide that she was going to be here. And she felt like Seattle, the Storm, was the type of place that would best fit her skill set as well. And she talked about how this organization is one where she feels like she's going to be empowered as well, because the resources, having a facility here in Seattle, that all feels empowering to the players, that they feel like they actually have what they need to improve themselves and make themselves better. So that made it a very attractive choice. Nneka said that the three of them, being Jewel, Nneka, and Skylar, wanted to play together. Apparently, their talks were, it almost sounded like, like a LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh situation, where they didn't know where they were going to play, but they know they wanted to play together. Nneka even said when they were talking to each other, they didn't know if it would be Seattle, but thankfully, we're all glad that it is Seattle. And now that it is Seattle, she said, that they really care about continuing the legacy that we have with the Seattle Storm, and that they see how much the fans really care, and through their hard work and dedication, that us, the fans, we are going to see how much they care about continuing the legacy of the Storm. And bringing it back to the facilities, Nneka was just saying how she's just used to not having the type of facilities that Seattle just built here for the Storm. And so when she first started thinking about leaving LA, she was thinking, okay, well, the facilities, that's not a priority, that's not important for whatever team I go to, and it's not going to be important in her making her choice what the facilities were, because she's just used to not having their own facilities, their own locker room, whatever. As a woman professional athlete, she's just used to not having that. So when she saw how much this organization actually cares about providing those things to their women athletes, she realized, oh, this is important, and it should be important, and it should be the standard that is set, and that I should have set for myself. That was a word that she brought up a lot throughout this press conference, was standard, and how raising the bar, that's not just like her going above and beyond, but these are things that should be standard for players, standard across the league. She said that, having their own facilities, their own locker rooms, not having to share them, not being told, oh, well, you have, court time, but you can't use it from here to here because we have the G League that needs to come in and practice, or we have some other event going on. That she felt like that's like a physical representation of saying to the players that you are worth it, and that means a lot. Um, you're not going to see that across the league. So again, that's just another place that's making Seattle attractive right now. Um, Coach Quinn spoke a little bit here, saying that you know she's excited and to have Nneka and Skylar, of course, and that it's going to be amazing to have them. Uh, these legends pouring wisdom into the younger players' minds, and she specifically mentioned Ezzy here because Ezzy and Nneka are going to be going against each other in practice, and how that's just going to push Ezzy to be even better that much faster, since she's going to be going up against top talent in practice every day. And I think Nneka also mentioned like, hey, it's going to make me better too going against her, because we see how good she is already at such a young age. Okay, so then I've been saying, hey, this is the superstorm, right? That this is this is a kind of a super team, right? None of them want to really admit that or address it or whatnot. But one of the reporters asked them, you know, if this decision was them being influenced by what's being done in Las Vegas with the Aces, with so many powerhouse players signing there. The reporter didn't mention New York, but obviously that's another team that you would compare the situation to. And they both responded that no, they didn't think about that. That when they're making their decisions to do what's best for themselves, they're not thinking about what other teams are doing. And they both said, all the teams in the league are trying to win a championship, and all the players there are hungry and want to win a championship. So that's what all the teams better be trying to do. So that's what they're all doing. So it didn't really, and I could believe it didn't really cross their mind that like, oh, we're us playing together is building us a super team like what the Aces have and the Liberty have. But you know, the thing on their mind is just like, hey, we want to be competitive. But no, not only are they going to be competitive, but they want to win a championship. So, we can look forward to big things from this team. Again, asked if they were a super team and if that's good to have super teams in the league. Talisa actually answered this one first, and she was saying, she thinks it's great for the league because it just shows that there's been so much growth that we have, kind of drawing from what she said there. Reading from what she said, I feel like she was saying like, "Hey, there's a lot of talent in the league now, so this is something that we could see multiple teams do now because we just have that much talent in the league right now. So it's good for the league to kind of have this much talent and to have these stories of these players playing together. Bringing up the facilities and the organization and ownership. Scholar says, the facilities here and the staff that's with the Storm being here year round, just feels like it's going to be a competitive advantage that other organizations aren't going to provide. And again, bringing up the word standard, Nick has said that this feels like what Seattle organization and ownership is building here feels like it is should be the standard, and that it's going to be the standard. And they see what the organization and ownership is doing, and they want to be the part of setting the standard. They're hoping that other teams, other organizations are going to look over here and see what's being built here and see how the best players are going to want to come play here because of exactly what they were saying, that like, look, they Seattle just built these facilities specifically for us. We have our own locker rooms. We have a staff that's working for us year round. Um, and yeah, now that the Storm have that, who wouldn't want to be a part of that? And that, you know, being the first group that's going to set that as the standard. They were asked about how the team does a lot in the community, and specifically how that relates to Black History Month. Talisa saying here that they think about it all year long, of course, and that this is just a month that gives them a chance to showcase it in a different, special way than and Nneka on the next question said she didn't know she was leaving LA for sure. That wasn't she'd been there for 12 years, so she didn't know exactly what she was going to do or how she felt. But she does know when she was here and talked to the Storm that she felt like a priority here and not just a puzzle piece. So again, the way ownership treated her, was a big part of the decision. And they said that, ownership here is not just investing, because a lot of ownership could invest, right? So Skylar was saying, maybe other ownership, maybe they will start to, build facilities or provide staff or provide, things that need to be provided for the players. But Skylar also mentioned that here, the ownership doesn't feel like they're just investing, but they're engaging. And that puts your team ahead. And Seattle has an ownership group that is engaging with the players, with the development, and with the staff to make sure that the players really feel like they are important and they are empowered to do what they want and need to do to be the best that they can be. Again, mentioning the organization, Skylar said that you don't feel second rate here, again, because of the facilities being built specifically for them. You don't have to worry about somebody else saying like, hey, you're not a priority, we need to use the court or the facility for something else, so we're kicking you out for the day or for a couple of days or whatever. Seattle's got their own stuff now that is theirs. And then got pretty emotional here in this part of the press conference. Scholar talked about she's just coming back from her second child, right? And how hard it has been for her dealing with postpartum, and wondering if she's going to be good enough to come back or if she can work hard enough to get back. And she's luckily had somebody to help her there, train her, that was there for her mentally as well, and so she was able to work hard to get back to where she is now. And with all of that, she said she felt like this group of players, ownership, staff, and the support system around her is what she needs now. And again, another big reason why she's coming here. And I have a wife who's had 5 kids, so yeah, I know exactly. Well, I don't know exactly because I didn't experience it, but I know what it is like to see somebody going through those things, and how hard that could be. So just glad that Skylar was able to, um, you know, get back to that confidence she had, and get back to a place where she felt like she didn't need to leave basketball, that she still can contribute to this game. So, I know that's just something that is very unique to women's sport, right? That um, that the women athletes have to work through. But yeah, again, hopefully, again, you're gonna need, like Skylar did have people in your personal life to help you through that. But then if you're gonna have an organization that is, wants to help support you through those things, empower you to feel like you have what you need to be a mom, and still work on what you want to work on to be the best you in your profession, then yeah, again, that's just going to be things that really attract players here for a long time. Uh, Again, Coach Quinn got asked a question about what it would be like to have someone like Nneka who can post up, and Coach Quinn said, "Hey, she's excited to have somebody um, like Nneka that can actually post up." Um, you know, they're not scoring a lot of in the mid range and in the paint last year, right? But Nneka will bring that. Adding Nneka is going to have that, and hopefully that's going to help Ezzy as well. But Ezzy, she can shoot that three, and she mentioned it here. Like that's not really Ezzy's thing, but you got a big down there in the paint that can score, and then you have the other big that can stretch the court. That's going to be a really good combination, and a lot of fun this year. Um, and Nneka said that she's looked at this roster and she sees Ezzy as an important piece of it, and she doesn't think of Ezzy as just a sidekick. Um, that she's a compliment, that she should be seen on par with, herself, Jewel, and Skylar. And then uh Nneka and Skylar were both saying that, Ezzy's still young and she hasn't even hit her peak yet. She hasn't even got to the point where she's at her best. So they're excited to be here and to work with her and help her get to that point, and to play with her when she is at that point, because she's already so good now. So, um, you know, they all sounded very excited, and I'm very excited about this team. Hopefully, you are as well. That pretty much concluded the press conference. So let me know. Did you watch this? I mean, how cool is it as well in women's sports, in WNBA? We got an hour-long press conference today. I mean, that in itself is uh, showing just how much the game of women's basketball is growing right now. This hasn't always been normal, right? I mean, normally in the past, you'd see like a little blurb in the newspaper, like, "Oh, Seattle Storm sign these couple of players," and then you wouldn't ever hear about it again until the season started, and maybe there's a little riot about them. It's just not a lot of uh, media attention given to this, but it's been growing the last couple of years, and I'm very excited to have been watching over the last couple of years. So I already know the players. I already have seen the stories. I'm already invested. But if you're out there and you are hearing about this team, so you're getting a little bit more excited about it and you want to know more about it, I encourage you, to, go watch these press conferences, watch, you know, uh, any other content being made about the WNBA, about the Seattle Storm. because the game is growing. Uh, it's so much fun right now. There's so many good players on so many teams. It's a lot of fun to watch. So don't miss out. Okay. Yeah, and that's gonna be the episode. So, um, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave some comments. Let me know. What do you think? Again, this is there was some when they first signed here. There's some other players like, hey, they're building a super team over there, and again, Nneka and Skylar kind of wanted to avoid that, but they're a super team. There's the Superstorm to me. Let me know. Do you think this is a super team that they built here, or or do you think hey, this is just some good players coming together and it just coincidence? Let me know in the comments. And then again, if you're listening on a podcast version, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button. And then if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star rating and a written review, because that all helps the show grow. And, I really appreciate that. So that's going to conclude this episode. So thanks so much for listening to the Seattle Sports Show, where we watch legends awaken. So take cover, because with the sea of sound, you will see us rise to reign supreme and win forever.